Hamilton's near, your voice is loud, it's crystal clear. Kiwi dreams and hopes collide. Choose the ones who'll stand with pride. It's in the ballot where we belong. Every vote builds a nation strong. Your council, your board, your mayor in line. Together we shape this land divine. The future's written in your hand. A chance to guide and take a stand. Community rising, hearts aligned. In total we shape this land divine. It's in the ballot we belong. Every vote builds a nation strong. Your council, your board, your mayor in line. Together we shape this land divine. There's a fortune in your hand, a chance to guide and take a stand. Community rising, hearts aligned. In this moment, powers redefined. It's in the ballot where we belong. Every vote builds a nation strong. Your council, your board, your mayor in line. Together we shape this land divine. It's in the ballot where we belong. Every vote builds a nation strong. Your council, your board, your mayor in line. Together we shape this land divine.
Welcome to today's It's in the Ballot show for Hamilton East Ward Part 2. These are your candidates vying to get your first preference votes, but with every election, there's always one thing stepping in every candidate's way, and that's your vote. Okay, so let's get ready for candidates' opening statements of why they should begin the first preference votes. And first up, we're here with Tim on your reasons why you should begin that number one vote.
So, climate change then. We hear a lot about our financial debt, but rarely do we hear about the CO2 debt that we are building. You agree that something needs to be done, but what can we do? If we don't change our ways, everything else up for votes is just rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. I've been busy enough with family, career, life to do much other than save a few birds. But talking of deck chairs, I was going to sit on one of those deck chairs now that I'm mostly retired. But I've got a nagging feeling that perhaps I should make a difference. Kids do that, bugger. I want to see councillors accelerate our climate change prevention measures. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Next up, Jackie, with your 1 minute opening statement why you should be in that number one vote.
Thank you. I know Hamilton well. I've lived here all my life. I was born here, worked here, and have raised my children here. I was a primary school teacher and then into central government where I held senior government roles. I've led reform across education, child protection, and community resilience. I understand governance, strategy, and performance. At the moment, Hamilton City is at a turning point, and we need smart people who know how to run major projects, big budgets, and spend ratepayers' money wisely to move Hamilton into the future. I've got a vision that Hamilton will continue to be our fastest growing city, but financially stable, well-connected, evidence-based decision-making and listening to our residents so we do the right thing for you, the ratepayer, our communities, and for Hamilton. Thank you.
Okay, next up, Anna.
Kia ora koutou. I'm a first-term city councillor. I stand for a city with connected communities, good access to parks, libraries and recreation facilities, thriving nature and arts, a restored lake, a protected river, reliable public transport and infrastructure that enables affordable housing. These are the priorities I've championed this past term, and these are what I will continue to stand and vote for. I know the current rates increases are tough, as is the rising cost of living. Inflation is the primary driver, along with past underinvestment. We need to reduce costs by scrutinising our contracts and bringing services back in-house where it makes sense. We also need to grow shared services with other councils. It is vital that we focus on the right efficiencies. A vote for me is a vote for careful, long-term decision-making that protects our community, our environment, and reduces costs in the right ways. Kia ora.
Okay, next up, Jenny.
Thank you. Kia ora e te whānau, ko Jenny Nantoku Ingwa. I'm asking for your vote and your trust this election. My vision is affordable, livable Hamilton with practical leadership and transparent decision-making, a city that works now and for generations to come. I've lived in Hamilton for the past 30 years. I'm a public servant, an entrepreneur, a community advocate with a master's degree in anthropology. I bring experience, strong central government relationships, political independence, and deep community knowledge. My priorities are get our finances sorted. That means push for a balanced budget and have a 10-year debt management strategy. Secondly, Hamilton's infrastructure is aging and it's time to act. I'll prioritize investment in our water systems. And thirdly, I actually want Hamilton to be affordable and livable. So both of them cannot be in conflict, they can be achieved. So Hamilton, I'm asking for your trust and your vote this election. Ka kite.
Okay, now let's get down to the box questions. Now, because we're doing things on the smell of an oily rag, I'm playing both the role of Sal and Too Good and Tena Kikabushi. So I have our lovely questions over here. Candidates will pick out box numbers between 1 and 28 or between Tahi and Rotkoma Wadu, and then get to sit down there and go one by box numbers and answer the questions that are in the boxes. Also, each candidate gets given 2 button cards so that if they have a question, if another candidate gets a question they want to ask, they can use one of their button cards to sit there and give the answers. Also, each candidate gets a defer card, so if you get a question they don't want to answer, they can always use the defer card. Now, with the random list order generator, because we like to keep everyone on their toes, and that includes our audience members, make sure that you aren't on your high heels because they're going to be a bit sore by the end of the night, because I've been told, thank goodness we're not wearing high heels. Great, like to sit there and do it. Anna, you get to pick out the box number. What box number would you like? Rotakoma Whaha, no problem. And for those who are wondering, that is the age of where you no longer have to give parental income for getting the student allowance, being 24. Okay, and we have the fun part of we got AA for the AA batteries. What is the most underrated part of Waikato that more people should be aware of?
So, well, to focus more on Kirikiriroa, because that's where I'm focusing, I would say our gully networks are probably the most underrated. I think that still a lot of our community doesn't really know about our gullies, and we have amazing gully systems throughout the city. So there'll be one in your neighbourhood. And council has worked really hard to make those increasingly accessible for our community. So putting boardwalks and walkways through them. And they're really quite magical. And our restoration work, as well as our pest trapping work, means that we're seeing a lot more bird life in our city as well. So I think nature in the city is one of the major undervalued things in Kirikiriroa and arguably in the Waikato as well.
Okay, next up, Jackie, what's the box number?
Let's go with 28.
28, no problem. Okay, we've got M for Mike. How do you think we can increase youth participation in local elections?
Great, good question. And as we all know, our young people don't vote and don't take much interest in our local elections. I know at the moment we've got a couple of rangatahi groups that the council engages with, and because I'm not on council, I'm not too sure how exactly that functions. I was unable to find out online, but I would continue to build that and foster and grow those groups, as well as having them council papers, sharing those council papers with them and the council decisions that are coming up, but also using them as an advisory group and asking them what their priorities are for Kirikiriroa, asking them how they connect with young people and spread that across our city so that we're weaving young people with young people and growing that motivation, hopefully, to engage with us and to take an interest in local body elections and local body matters.
Okay, next up, Tim, what box number?
Number 1, please.
Number 1, no problem. Okay, we got J for Juliet. Last year, Kenya Te Haiti called for, was it kautahitanga or moving forward together? How would you bring the concept into the role if elected?
Okay, so first of all, I want to give you some background before I answer the question. I've taught artificial intelligence for over 10 years at Wintec. I'm currently supervising Unitec students in machine learning. And what I want to do to answer questions is to refer to people who would have more knowledge about the question than I do. As I'm not yet a counsellor, if I ever will be, I'm afraid I've turned to ChatGPT for most of the answers today. So for this one, and you may disagree, but it's a starting point. So the concept of moving forward together is incredibly powerful and deeply relevant to our city. I would bring this into my role by actively seeking to build bridges across different communities in Hamilton. This means engaging with all residents, not just those who share my views. It also means working with all fellow councillors. It goes on, it's up for discussion. I'm not taking this as the final answer. Thank you.
Okay, Jenny, what's next box number?
Number 5, please.
Number 5. Okay, we got V for violin. Who is your favourite local artist? Visual arts, musicians, filmmakers, writers, and why?
Oh, thank you for the lovely question. I'll name 2 people. Alex Sands. The jewelry I'm wearing at the moment is made by him, and he's a fantastic local artist. And the second person is Pawish. He's part of our little community. He's 10 years old and plays an instrument called dholak. If you don't know, you can Google it, because there's more instruments, other indigenous instruments as well that people play. And he's doing a fantastic job at it. And he's at every community event. So I'm looking forward to him actually performing at our Waikato Regional Theatre one day. Thank you.
Okay, 4 questions down. We've got a new list order. Jackie, what's the next box number?
21.
Oh, yes, it used to be the voting age at one point in time. Thank goodness, no longer anymore. But yes. Okay, we've got X for X-ray. Being in a position of authority representing a range of communities, how do you feel about council making a stand or declaring a stance on a national or international issue?
Any member of government, whether they're local or central government, are voted there by the people. If the council is asked to take a view on a national or international issue, then we need to do that as a collective. We may not agree around the table. We may not agree with all the people who voted us there, but first of all, we would absolutely understand what our residents of Kirikiriroa are saying on the particular issue. It is our job to represent the people. We would take all that information, and then as a council, we'd need to work through that. What are the trade-offs? What's the impact of our stance? And then we would need to boldly come out with that position, but also make sure that we're bringing our residents with us so they understand why we took that particular stance. Not easy, but leadership isn't easy.
Okay, we have a button from Jenny.
Actually, I agree with what Jackie has said, but I'll take the opportunity to also answer this question. Hamilton is made up of 170 different ethnicities, and anything international that happens actually impacts our community here locally. So it'll be remiss of us to think that it doesn't. International affairs matters at a local level, and I'm very aware that it's not council's role, but in principle, I think we should stand in solidarity with our communities and understand how it's impacting everybody locally, because civil war overseas actually impacts us here. So we need to stand by our communities and show solidarity. And I agree with Jackie that as a council, we should discuss and in consensus take a statement and make a statement that we stand with our brothers and sisters, and how whatever is impacting them, we are walking alongside our communities and will partner with them better. Thank you.
And continuing with buttons, we've got Tim.
Hi, so I've butted in here. This is not ChatGPT this time, this is actually me. So I think we should definitely try to influence other councils to adopt the net zero challenge. So I think it's for us as Hamilton City Councillors to also work with other councils to try and get them to also aim for net zero. We should lobby the government for action that prevents climate change. For example, people often complain, things are going to cost money to do climate change initiatives, but with a law change, you could say in-lane bus stops. Why do we have in-lane bus stops? Let's make it a law that if a bus is indicating to get out of a bus stop, you have to give way to the bus. It's simple. We can have a law that says if you hit someone on a bicycle, the default position is the car driver is at fault, especially if it's a child who's on the bicycle or walking. These are law changes that we should be lobbying for at government level. Thank you.
I can certainly tell you as a Wellingtonian here, letting the bus go first is just like second nature in Wellington. But as soon as you go to Lower Hutt, it's gone completely out the window. So, in Wellington, it's like, the bus puts the indicator, pull out, bang, you stop and let the bus in. But yeah, outside of Wellington, that is not common.
Crazy.
Yeah. Maybe in our lovely, that unitary authority they call Auckland. Yeah. Okay, now Tim, you get the next box number.
Oh, 2.
2.
You have to give me the letter, please.
That's all right. Okay, we got Q for Quebec. Would you vote yes or no on the installation of water meters for private residents in Hamilton?
Oh, good question for me. This is the ChatGPT version, which I mostly agree with. I would vote yes for the installation of water meters. From a climate and environmental perspective, water metering is a critical tool for promoting conservation. It makes people aware of their consumption, and it provides a financial incentive to use water wisely. This is essential for ensuring the long-term sustainability of our water supply, particularly as climate change brings more frequent dry periods. It is the most effective way to manage a precious resource and finite resource, and is a core part of building a resilient city. And this is definitely me speaking. I reckon we need a free allocation of water to each household to ensure that they have the basic water for sanitary requirement needs. Thank you.
Cheeky supplementary. Smart water meters or dumb water meters to measure the revenue?
I don't understand the
A
difference.
dumb water meter is a mechanical meter that only measures the volume. A smart water meter is one that measures the volume and reports it, but also picks up when things are wrong, such as if you speak to our candidate liaison, Nick, a water seal burst in the kitchen at about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. A dumb water meter goes, cha-ching, cha-ching, look at all this money I'm raking up. A smart water meter will go, oi, something's not right there. It's going through 1,000 litres a second. Something's not right. Shut off. And
So smart sounds good. We can use smart meters for checking if elderly people are actually still up and about and doing stuff. So smart meters are great, but there's a privacy issue which would have to be carefully looked at.
yeah. And on that one, for the insurance part, if a smart meter clicked it off, the you wouldn't have had like thousands of litres of water in there. So from an insurance perspective, a smart water meter may actually reduce some risks from there. So maybe our insurance industry might be.
I'll swap places with you if you like.
Yeah. Jenny, what's the next box number?
Number 2, please.
Already been taken, but we can give you number 3.
I'll take that.
Okay, we got C for Charlie. What can the council do to be more transparent with the public over the undertaking and decisions council makes?
Thank you. Council can do a lot actually. During this election campaign, when decisions are made, some of the decisions are not necessarily easily understand. The community don't necessarily understand it. So I think what council can do, and this is part of my election platform, is introduce 2 things. One is have a financial dashboard. At the moment, we all the candidates are talking about money and fund, the debt levels, etc., etc., etc. If council introduced a financial dashboard that talked about the income, the expenditure, and the debt level, and how we are tracking in terms of a plan, the community would have a lot more safety in understanding that. Again, another tool would be an impact mapping tool. In terms of what we're funding and what we're not funding, we should actually map the impact of how things impact the community when it's funded or not funded. That will also help with the community perception of how councils are doing. So yes, we can do a lot more to be transparent. Vote me if you want for that change.
Yep, we got a button from Jackie.
Thank you. I absolutely agree with Jenny. And one of the things that I'm standing on, I have a 3x4 model of one of my 3 things is evidence-based decision-making and communication and connection with the community, being really transparent in plain language about the decisions we're making, why we're making them, and then how we're tracking, and also being more visible to our community so that they can come and talk to us about the things that are worrying them. On this campaign trail, we have had lots of discussion about money, and one of the current councillors told me at a meeting, it's all online, the public can go and look at it. The public can't go and look at it. I've looked. It's difficult to understand. It's not plain language, and we need to be really transparent about the decisions we're making and why. I looked for the youth involvement with council. It was really difficult for me to even find. It's not easy to navigate, and we need to be absolutely transparent in plain language more often, continually, actually.
Joyce, Judith Collins, the minister in charge of removing the plain language rule, probably won't like your stance. Yes. Anna, what's next box number?
7.
Yep, we can do 7. Okay, we got D for Delta. How robust are the consultation processes council uses to hear from residents around decisions facing the council?
I think our consultation processes are robust. I'm just not sure that they reach all the sectors of our community well. So I think there's still more work to do there. One group of people that I think sometimes doesn't think that they've got a voice into council is renters, because we often talk about ratepayers, and I think renters might not identify as being ratepayers. So I think that's a concern, and we need to do better to make sure that everybody understands that they have a voice, an important voice in shaping our city. We have done some work over the last long-term plan to do some, putting out information in different languages, recognising what Jenny said, that there's over 170 different ethnic groups in our community. So we are doing things, but I think we can definitely improve.
Okay, and with 8 questions down and another round, Anna, you get to pick the next box number.
10?
Yep, we can do 10.
Yeah, he does random picks.
Okay, we got E for the East Coast Main Trunk Line, which runs right underneath Hamilton, and I believe there's a not in use train station there, known as Hamilton Central Train Station.
Yes, correct.
How do you feel about councillor attendance rate reporting, including committees and workshops, as well as regular council meetings?
I think that we do record attendance rates for meetings, but I think it's really important that we record attendance rates for briefings, because they're really vital. Like I've got a good attendance rate for both those things, but a lot of current councillors don't come to briefings, and actually that's really concerning, because not only does it impact the efficiency of our meetings, because people aren't up to play with the actual decisions being made. I just don't understand how you can come to a council meeting having not gone to a briefing, because the decisions are quite complex, the information is complex, and you need to be able to ask lots of questions and make sure you understand the issues. So yes, absolutely, we need to record attendance at briefings.
Okay, Tim, what's the next box number?
I'm thinking 4.
Yep, we can do 4. Okay, we've got N for November. The CBD is dying is a catchphrase that locals and many Kiwis across the country, because the problem is it's the same thing gets said in Wellington as well, and in Lahab, have been, was it the CBD is dying, has been claiming for years. In your view, what could the council do to either lift the fortunes of CBD businesses or change that public view?
Okay, so the CBD is dying narrative is a challenge, but we, that's me and ChatGPT, believe it's one we can overcome by focusing on creating a vibrant, walkable and attractive city centre. Council must lead the way by prioritising the CBD as a place for people, not just cars. This means continuing to invest in public spaces, green infrastructure, and public art that encourage people to linger and socialise. A focus on green initiatives like pedestrianisation, more cycle lanes, and efficient bus network will help to create a destination that is not only economically vibrant, but also aligns with a long-term climate vision. Thank you.
Okay, you want to do a button or?
Me?
No, I'll speak. And I'll just say one thing. Thank goodness State Highway 1 is no longer going down Victoria Street, which will really shows people's memories, because it's been going around what was known as the old bypass for about the last 30-something years. But yeah, I've seen some old maps of Hamilton where State Highway 1 went down Victoria Street, which, can you picture a 44-ton sheep truck going through the centre of Hamilton?
We've improved.
Yeah. Jackie, what's the next box number?
16.
Oh, the good old driver's license age.
Well, in my day it was 15.
So
That's showing
blind.
the age.
I was going to say, not much has changed between your day and my day.
Probably not.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the progressive driver's license system might have been in or not by then. Yeah. Okay, we got S for Sierra. Is Hamilton big enough to consider a river ferry service as a transport method?
I saw this question on the list and I thought, wow, that's really a very exciting, interesting question. I would say yes. And I say that for several reasons. Our roads are congested, coming across the bridges. I mean, terribly congested, and it takes a long time. So having a river ferry service not only helps with our movement around the city, but it also helps with our tourism and attracting people to Kirikiriroa. it would be very cool to have a system, a ferry system that went from Hamilton North right down to even towards Cambridge. I think it would be unique. I think it would attract a lot of talk and attention, and it would also be sensible for people trying to get to work. I think it's a great idea. No idea about the costings and haven't done any background research, but I think it's worth investigating further. How exciting.
Okay. And that could, I think if there was able to be a ferry service, there should be a Hamilton Garden station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, yeah, always brilliant there. Jenny, what's the next box number?
Number 12, please.
Number 12. Okay, we got O for Oscar. How do you feel about council subsidising private business to give them more equal footing against private competitors in other parts of the city?
Very interesting question. Categorically, no. I don't entertain that. I think fundamentally that's not council's role to subsidize private business or private entity. Council's role at the moment is how do we make it easier for business to do business in Hamilton? At the moment, the rates issue is impacting them. So how do we enable a better way to help work with the businesses in terms of the rates so that we're not pushing business out of Hamilton? But to the question of subsidizing business, private businesses, no, not at all. Not supportive.
Can I?
Yep. We got a button from Jackie.
Whilst I understand what Jenny has said, I have a slightly different take on that. And to some degree, it's happening a little bit anyway. From my understanding, is there are some arrangements around internal development in the city and the development contributions. I'm happy to be corrected on that, but my understanding is that there is. The other thing I'd say is I was in Hamilton up the main street today, and I was in Garden Place, and there are so many empty shops, which doesn't help create the impression of unsafe places in the central city and unattractive. I would work with the owners of those properties to help a subsidised rent, which is not paid to the council, it's paid to those businesses, to bring businesses who are starting off into the city. Those buildings are empty at the moment. Empty is zero income. It is better to get some income. And I think it's worth bringing those property owners to the table and working together to fill those shops, to get people in and to get some income coming in.
Okay, Jenny, what's the next box number?
20.
Yep, we can do the old drinking age. Or it was a voting age for, I think, a couple of elections. Okay, we've got T for Tango. When was the last time you used public transport or cycle lane in Hamilton?
Over the last few weeks, I have been doing my 7,000 flyer runs with my husband, and both of us have been on our bikes, traveling around Hamilton East Ward, delivering our flyers. And yeah, so it was as recent as last night, actually.
Okay, Jackie, what's the next box number?
14?
Yep, we can do 14. Okay, we've got B for Bravo. Clearly, debt and rate levels are high, and finding ways to keep rates down is important, but other funding levers councils have are limited and not likely to increase anytime soon. Do you have any suggestions for other ways councils could increase revenue streams without burdening the ratepayers any further?
Thank you. Yeah, again, the $1 million question. I think council needs to be more deliberate in exploring partnerships with philanthropic and the business community. The business community is driven to bring people into Hamilton, again, into the CBD, as I talked about before. So bringing those people to the table, as I said before, to get those shop fronts and those buildings fill in town. I think there's a way that we can do that. I also think that we can charge for some services. At the moment, we're charging international visitors $20 to go to the Hamilton Gardens. As someone said the other day, that's 10 American dollars. That is nothing. We could double that. People can go to the gardens for a whole day for $40 is not out of the norm. I think there are other things also services that we could charge for, not for our core services, and I don't want anyone to take me out of context, but there are certainly tourist destinations in Hamilton that we could do that for.
And Button from Anna.
I agree with Jackie about the international charging for the gardens. I think that is something we could do. But just in terms of other opportunities, we are going to be putting a predator-proof fence around the Waiwhakariki Natural Heritage Park, and I think that's an opportunity. Not only does it have lots of benefits for nature, people do pay to go to Maungatautari Sanctuary Mountain, so obviously there's a potential market there for us and to bring in some revenue to help continue to restore that space. I also think down at the gardens there's an opportunity to work with Tainui Waka Tourism to do some more ventures together that could in turn help to return money to the gardens. They've got lots of great ideas for cultural shows and performances that I think would have a real international interest as well as local. Thank you.
Okay, Anna, what's the next box number?
15? No,
Oh,
you've got
yes.
that one?
Yep, we can do that
Oh,
one.
yeah.
The old driver's license age.
Oh.
As what was mentioned earlier about how some of our candidates got their license
Yes.
at 15. Okay, we've got Z for Zulu. For people visiting the city for the first time, what is the perception of the city you would like them to leave with?
I would love them to leave with an impression of our city as a vibrant centre for arts and culture and creativity and also nature. So I think the regional theatre is going to do wonders for our city. I think it's going to help with the CBD activation. I also think our events are wonderful. Our balloons over Waikato and other events that we have, Matariki in the city, those sorts of things are I think, experiences that if people came into the city for, they would leave with a good impression, and I hope they do already. But definitely our arts community is thriving in Hamilton, and we need to do what's required, particularly in the grants area, to ensure that council is supporting the arts community as it has done previously, and just continue that.
Okay, Tim, what's the next box number?
I think it might be 5.
Unfortunately, that has been taken, but its cousin number 6 is still
That's the one then. Yes, thank you.
there. Okay, we've got H for hotel. No, H for Hamilton. Sorry, let's ditch the Finny alphabet and put the city's name in place. Central government has been making a number of changes to the role councils undertake, like changes to the RMA, density rule and construction code. How would you approach the constant change when it comes to the way you make a decision on behalf of the city?
Okay, so just a reminder that I am in negotiation with ChatGPT. Hopefully it's a good exercise on how to use a tool like machine learning to give it the right questions. They don't always come back with the answers you want, so you have to keep working on it. But here goes for this one. The constant changes from central government present a real challenge. Our approach would be to ensure that every decision, regardless of central government changes, is grounded in our community's long-term strategic plan and a commitment to net zero. We need to be proactive, not reactive. This means using our long-term plan to guide our actions and being prepared to advocate strongly to central government when their legislative changes contradict or undermine our city's specific needs, particularly in areas like sustainable urban development and climate resilience. Seems quite a good answer to me. Thank you.
Okay, now let's get a new list order. Jackie, what's the next box number?
Number 8.
Yep, we can do number 8. Okay, we've got P for Papa. Former Mayor Margaret Evans once suggested regional amalgamation and renaming Hamilton to the City of Waikato, in brackets, COW, to reflect the role of the rural community on the success. What are your thoughts on regional amalgamation?
I'm all for regional amalgamation, but renaming Hamilton to the City of the Waikato, cow, is probably not going to fly, so to speak. So amalgamation, I think, is something that needs to be explored. We're the fastest growing city. Our regions, the councils within the Waikato regional area have varying sizes and degrees of operations, etc. There's a lot of sense to be made by amalgamating. There's some cost savings to be made. We all share the same kind of fundamental underlying interests because we all care about our region. I think it's worth exploring, but definitely not cow. Anyone want cow? Just saying.
I mean, as I say, it probably would not fly just as much as Zulu Kilo, Papa India Golf, known as a New Zealand registered flying pig, would not fly. Now, Zulu Kilo is what all planes in New Zealand, if they're New Zealand certified, have as the first two letters in their registration.
Flying pig.
No,
Oh.
Zulu Kilo.
Oh, right.
Which is, Zulu Kilo is a New Zealand certified plane. PIG, Papa India Golf, is pig, which I actually found out is not a registered New Zealand plane, probably for that reason. Yeah. Okay, Anna, what's the next box number?
9.
Yep, we can do 9. Okay, we got G for golf. What are your views on the legislative inability to remove elected members whose actions bring a council into disrepute repeatedly?
So it's not acceptable. So we've had experience of this this term where, well, actually, I don't know if it was consistently brought into disrepute, but it was definitely brought into disrepute, I think, with, a member being abusive towards a district mayor in another place. And I guess the consequences were nil, really, because it comes down to the individual and whether they're prepared to behave well, and then I guess be responsible for their behaviour. So there certainly is an inadequacy in the code of conduct and in the processes that we can implement to require people to behave well. We have to elect people that will behave well. I think that's a very important first step, but we also need to make sure there are decent consequences for bad behaviour.
Okay, Tim, what's the next box number?
I'm going to change tactic here. What's the last number I can choose?
27.
Let's have 27 if it's still available.
Okay, we got L for Lima. Do you support increasing the number of wheelchair accessible bus stops, which means wheelchair users don't have to deal with grass and mud to travel?
Absolutely. This is not just about convenience. It's a fundamental issue of equity and human dignity. An accessible city is a city for everyone. Increasing the number of wheelchair accessible bus stops is a core part of building a truly inclusive public transport network. It also aligns perfectly with our climate goals. The more accessible and reliable our public transport is, the more people will choose to use it, reducing the city's overall emissions. Thank you.
Okay, Jenny, what's the next box number?
I will go for 23, please.
Sure. Can't say much about that age. There's not much about 23. Okay, we've got F for Foxtrot. How do you feel about the government's plan to create an independent arbiter for code of conduct complaint processes with a nationwide level of responsibility and outcomes?
Thank you. I think it's a fantastic first step at the moment. With code of conduct, at the local level, I think it doesn't hold much weight or consequence at all. So having a national standard definitely helps, and hopefully there's some consequences attached to code of code of conduct as well. There's no use just having a piece of paper that doesn't get implemented. If you have something, we need education. We need better education for elected members as well as for council staff, so that we can have a better opportunity and a safe environment for everybody to operate within. So how do I feel about it? I welcome it with open arms. It's a good first step. Thank you.
Okay. Anna, what's the next box number?
13?
Yep, we can do 13. Okay, we've got U for uniform. What role do you see the council having in supporting the local creative sector?
I think we need to continue with what we're doing currently. So we do have a grant scheme, which is of benefit to many of our creative groups and organisations in the city. And we have a very close working relationship with Creative Waikato, which needs to continue. We've just this past week approved a arts and infrastructure policy, which I think is, well, I think it's the first in New Zealand, which is amazing. And it basically just means that we plan for art at the start of an infrastructure project as opposed to an afterthought, which I think is a great idea. It doesn't mean that every infrastructure project will include art, but it does mean that we give consideration to it at the beginning. So I think that's really important. Our events policy is also just been, we've just developed, and that is intended to make events easier for groups and organisations to run in the city. So hopefully less red tape and easy to get things off the ground.
Okay, Tim, what's the next box number?
Might be 26.
Yep, we can do that one. Okay, we got W for Waikato. What should we do with Captain Hamilton's statue?
Well, me or ChatGPT didn't really have an answer for that, but I'm assuming it's in a box at the bottom of a council building somewhere. Maybe we could melt it down and make little exact copies to sell at the Gardens shop. Thank you.
Let's button from
Yeah.
Anna.
I'll just button because I think, you know, this isn't needing to be as controversial as it's made out to be. That the statue can have a home, I believe, in the museum, and it can come with great context because a lot of people don't know the story of Captain Hamilton. He never came to Hamilton. He was killed in Gate Pa. And yeah, I think that people need to understand that history. We need to understand our history far better in Kirikiriroa, understand our own history, and understand that name, Hamilton. And that's probably why I choose to use Kirikiriroa a lot more, because I think it's actually far more fitting to this place than Hamilton. But anyway, Captain Hamilton should go into the museum, is my belief.
Okay, Jenny, what's the next box number?
Number 10, please.
Been taken, but you can have its neighbour, number 11. Okay, we got K for Kirikiriroa. With several tertiary institutions here, the Waikato is a place to place people come to get skills, but those take those with skills elsewhere. What can be done to stem that brain drain?
Actually, I think Waikato or Hamilton we are located in the Golden Triangle. So we have a lot of opportunity. With institutions like University of Waikato and Wintec at our doorstep, again, we have got fresh ideas and students at the doorstep. So what can we do about it? What we need is encourage businesses who are struggling in Auckland, businesses who are making Tauranga their home. Encourage them to make Hamilton their home. There's nothing stopping Hamilton to be the next Silicon Valley of Waikato or New Zealand. So what are we doing about that? There's lots of opportunities, but we're not taking those risks. We're not creating those opportunities, and we're not having those conversations. There is an opportune time right here, right now, so that we can retain our young people and bring those businesses and opportunities. And council actually has a huge role to play in it. Thank you.
Okay, Jackie, what's next box number?
I'm losing track of what's available. Is 20 available?
No, but 19, 18, 17.
Let's go with 18. Thank
Good
you.
old voting age. Okay, we've got, was it letter AB for the All Blacks? Can you give us an example of an out-of-the-box thinking so many candidates seem to say they bring to the table, and how will that help the residents of Hamilton City?
So can I just check? I looked at this question. So you're asking me for other candidates out of the
Yourself.
box? Just my one?
What's an example of an out-of-the-box idea thinking?
So many candidates seem to say they bring to the table.
Yeah. What would be your out-of-the-box idea?
Right, well, I'd like to set up some kind of governance pool, I guess, like Institute of Directors, they advertise all around the place across the country, Treasury and MPI. I'd like a Hamilton pool. If you want to be a governor in Hamilton or sit on a board or have a local opportunity, that we set up a portal that businesses who are looking for board members and board members who are looking to begin their governance journey, that we match Hamilton with Hamilton, so that we grow our governance capability and capacity homegrown here and local, supporting local. And by doing that, hopefully we'll get businesses that are strong, governance and boards that are strong, and that we will get local production that's here and well supported, and local contracts going here. Thank you.
Okay, and we're on to our last four questions.
No, he wanted.
Oh yes, we got Tim with a button. Sorry, I did remember seeing that. Yes, so let's get to that button, Tim.
Thank you. So, out of the box, well, it seems everything I'm saying is out of the box compared with other candidates. So my objective is for Hamilton to become a net zero emissions city. My strategy is to reduce our CO2 emissions and increase our CO2 absorption. So that strategy is what we need to do to meet the objective. And then we have the tactics. What are the tactics that we're going to do to meet that strategy? And there can be lots of tactics, and here are a few. They're all out of the box, you may say. Generate all our electricity from renewable energy. So plant more trees, provide better cycling options, promote eating less red meat, improve bus services, deploy more electric car charging options, reduce the number of fossil fuel powered vehicles, and one more, assistance to phase out domestic gas use. Thank you.
Okay, oh, that was a wrong button there. Okay, Tim, what's the next box number?
I think we're down at about 24-ish.
Got 25, the age that your car insurance excess drops.
Let's have that one then, thanks.
Yes, I remember, my excess went down from $800 down to $300 simply for turning 25. Okay, we got A for Alpha. How do you approach the need to balance rate changes and the ongoing maintenance of city assets, or is there an acceptable amount of loss of asset voters should accept in return for low rates?
Okay, we're back to leaning heavily on ChatGPT for this one. This is a fundamental question of long-term vision versus short-term gain. Sacrificing asset maintenance for artificially low rates is a false economy that future generations of Hamiltonians will pay for. Our approach is to be financially prudent while prioritizing investments that not only maintain our assets, but also advance our climate goals. This means prioritizing projects that improve resilience and reduce emissions, such as upgrading our public transport infrastructure, investing in stormwater systems that can handle more intense rainfall, and ensuring our civic buildings are energy efficient. Our focus should be on building a durable, resilient city, not one that is slowly crumbling. Thank you.
Okay, button from Jenny.
Thank you. So this question is about how are we managing our assets, our current assets, and are we doing it well or not, and how do we pay for it? Currently, I don't think we're looking after our assets well. Casing example, Founders Theatre, a concern building. So what can we do about it? Every year, we depreciate our asset, right? Do we actually take that depreciation cost to that particular asset? Maybe not. Are we putting a renewals cost attached to that particular asset so that we're not caught off guard in terms of when it comes to maintaining that particular asset? So if we are building new assets, we need to look at how we are looking after our current assets before we do the new shiny projects. That's one of the things that we need to fundamentally look at. Look after our current assets, our aging infrastructure well before we embark on the new shiny stuff. That's me.
Okay, Jackie, what's the next box number? Got 17, 19, or 22?
This goes 22.
Okay, we got Y for Yankee. How do you feel about our sister city relationships?
Like all sisters, you should love them. I'm one of 4 girls, not 5 years between the youngest and oldest, and I'm number 2. Always love your sisters. I think it's pretty cool. It's a good. There's, I think, from memory, I wrote them down. There's about 5 sister cities. 1 in Japan, 2 in China, 1 in Belgium, and 1 in the USA. What an opportunity if we really maximise those relationships. There'd be tourism to and from, but also sharing of ideas, sharing of expertise. What is it across those 4 different jurisdictions? What do they do well? What can we learn and what can we grow? What can we learn and then bring to Hamilton City that gives us the opportunity to strengthen and grow our capability and build a better Hamilton? I think it's a really, as I say, we should love them, we should learn from them, and we should be really well connected. Thank you.
Okay, Anna, what box number?
Oh, thank you.
So we'll go for the age you can join the military of age 17. Okay, we got R for Romeo. A number of candidates mention an excess of speed bumps and cycle lanes in their profiles as their reason for running. A large number of these have been requested by the communities. How do you weigh up the balance between commuters who travel by car and commuters who choose buses, bikes, and walking, and what they need in terms of infrastructure changes you support?
So I guess one of my concerns is that if we don't invest in the alternate transport options, we're going to have an increasingly congested city. So that's one of the reasons that I do support investing in, we don't control the buses, that's regional council, but investing in public transport infrastructure is really important. Investing in cycleways is important because particularly focused, I think, on enabling safe journeys to school. I think that we all know how congested our roads are during school term, but actually in the holidays, not so much. So there's obviously some work that we can do some more in that space. We all use footpaths, so I think footpaths are absolutely critical and we need to make sure we maintain them well. We're probably not doing as well as we should do with footpaths, but that partly relates to central government funding as well. But absolutely think we need to invest in a variety of transport options.
Okay, Jenny, what box number?
21?
No, unfortunately, that one's taken. You can choose 19.
Yes, I'll go for that.
Okay, we got I for India. How do you feel about the continuation of Manga Māori representation in committees alongside their Kirikiriroa Māori ward councillors.
I support maintaining and growing these arrangements because they promote equity, respect, cultural identity, and improve outcomes for all Hamiltonians. And here, in terms of Maori Woods, I will also say I support that. And a big shout out to Maria Huata and Moko Tawariki for the amazing work they have done over their term and the value add they bring to the table. They bring diversity of thought, plus they bring a lot more cultural intelligence to the table for Hamilton to consider intergenerational decisions. So how I feel about it, I support it, and I think we should support Maori Woods as well, if you haven't voted already. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take a break and then we'll come back in about 10 minutes' time for hard-hitting questions.
Emergency management.
We're taking a pause, just a short little breather to stretch out your legs. You don't need a leader. The live stream will be back, so don't go too far. But for now, you can wander wherever you are. Intermissions aren't really a thing anymore, but we think they're cool, a tradition to adore. A moment to breathe, have a laugh, maybe chat. There's magic in breaks, and we're keeping that. Head to the lobby, I mean your kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed. We'll resume on a dime. Head to the lobby, I mean your kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Maybe three. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed. We'll resume on a dime. Head to the lobby, I mean your kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Maybe three. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed. We'll resume on a dime. Head to the lobby, I mean your kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Maybe three. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed. We'll resume on a dime. stretch out your legs, you don't need a leader. The live stream will be back, so don't go too far. But for now you can wander wherever you are. Intermissions aren't really a thing anymore, but we think they're cool, a tradition to adore. A moment to breathe, have a laugh, maybe chat. There's magic in breaks, and we're keeping that. Head to the lobby, I mean your kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed, we'll resume on a dime. Your kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Maybe 3. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed, we'll resume on a dime. Into the lobby, I mean your kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Maybe 3. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed, we'll resume on a dime. I mean your kitchen with glee, for snacks that are tasty and drinks. Maybe 3. Fill up your plate, pour a glass, take your time, then come back refreshed, we'll resume on a dime.
shit, don't panic, but it's almost time to get back to the show. The candidates have stretched their legs, been partying, taking a break. Cause there's still hard-hitting questions, closing statements and stuff you wanna know. So grab those snacks for their answers and prep for decisions you need to make. Oh, 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 oh. The candidates have stretched their leg. The candidates have stretched their legs, been partying, taking a break. Oh, 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 oh. There's still hard-hitting questions, closing statements and stuff you wanna know. So grab the snack you wanna know. So grab those snacks, here the answers and prep for decisions you need to make. Oh, oh, oh.
Okay, welcome back to It's in the Ballot. Now let's get ready for hard-hitting questions.
Hard-hitting questions. We don't get any debating. What does a question? Because every candidate has an answer behind hard-hitting questions.
Okay, so hard-hitting questions are questions we get all candidates to sit here and answer on It's in the Ballot. So hard-hitting question number one. What are your views on the new emergency management bill before government? Let's kick off with Jenny.
Kia ora. From a local government perspective, the bill offers an opportunity to better prepare Hamilton and Waikato communities, ensuring more resilient, inclusive, and effective emergency management. I support these reforms as they reflect lessons learned from recent events and would help protect our city's people and assets in the future. And one thing we have to be very clear is council has a huge role in emergency management, and so does our local communities, businesses, Hapu, Iwi, and Marae. We don't want to be caught off guard. We need to be prepared. Extreme weather conditions and disasters and COVID-like events are becoming more rare. Thanks.
Okay, next up, Anna.
Yeah, I agree that the emergency management bill is important. I think that we need to make sure that we enable locally led responses to emergencies, and it's critical that local people are consulted on any changes, that we need to have dedicated funding streams for it, and we need to, as part of it, also ensure the resilience of our critical infrastructure, like our stormwater systems. I think we're in the face of climate, as Tim has talked of, we need to make sure that we can handle the storms that are coming our way. I also think we need to apply an equity lens to any disaster management that we're undertaking or emergency preparation, because people with less resources are less able to cope in emergency situations. So we need to focus in particular on neighbourhoods in Kirikiriroa that will need more support in the event of emergency and disaster.
Okay, Tim.
Okay, see if you can tell who wrote this one. My view is that the bill rightly acknowledges the new reality we face due to climate change, that emergencies are becoming more complex and frequent. The most significant aspect of the bill for Hamilton is its emphasis on building the resilience of critical infrastructure. This isn't just about roads and power lines, it's about making sure our water systems, communication networks, and other essential services are robust enough to withstand climate impacts. However, I am concerned that the legislation may impose new costs on the local councils without providing sufficient funding. I would push for a national dedicated fund for climate adaptation and emergency preparedness, so that the costs are not solely borne by local ratepayers, but are treated as the national priority they have become. And the answer is, it was all ChatGPT.
Okay, Jackie.
Yes, thank you. I have some lived experience. I was in central government during the Kaikoura earthquakes and the Wellington ones, and helped set up the bunker under the Beehive. The 2002 Civil Defence and Emergency Act is old, and we've learnt an awful lot about a lot of emergencies since then. So I support the Emergency Management Bill. It provides a framework for consistency across the country. It outlines really clearly what the relationship is between central government and local government. There is still some work to be done. So the bill has been pulled from Parliament at the moment to do that work, and that's around where more detail on where the accountabilities lie and how to be funded. One of the things that it does point out, which is absolutely my fellow candidates have said, is much more joined upness, one of a better word, between local stakeholders, including iwi, so everyone understands their local uniqueness and how they would respond to that. Thank you.
Okay, let's get on to hard-hitting question number 2. Currently, new housing subdivisions are not required to make housing accessible to the front door for disabled users such as wheelchairs. What is your policy stance on making new subdivisions have accessible requirements so wheelchair users can get to the front door? Jackie.
Thank you. All design of anything that we do, subdivisions, transport, bus stops, which has already come up, should be done with universal design, so with all people in mind. It's really important that subdivision developers have accessible ways for people to get to the front door, but there's also some things that need to happen behind the front door, which haven't been specified. But getting to the front door, absolutely, and having footpaths that are accessible for all. We need designs of subdivisions to include parks, roading, transport options, universal design for everybody. And Hamilton needs to have a label that says this is a place to come to, we're accepting of all, and we ensure that all of our citizens live a wonderful, valuable life.
Okay, Tim.
Okay, this first bit is me. 27 years ago, a friend of ours fell off his ladder and broke his back. He's been in a wheelchair ever since. I know it's 27 years ago because our firstborn was about a week old, and we were so traumatized that we actually left her in his hospital room as we were leaving. And he said, "Haven't you forgotten something?" Anyway, I saw him this weekend, and he mentioned the fact that he still can't go and see his friends because they don't live in accessible housing. And I thought, oh, bugger. He reckons that a certain percentage of all new builds should be accessible. Certainly where you've got multi-story buildings, there's no reason why all the ground floor can't be accessible. So I hadn't even occurred to me before he mentioned that this weekend. So that's definitely what I'd like to see doing. That was all me. Thanks.
I'm wondering if that friend's called Tony, but that's definitely not the same friend because how they both ended up in wheelchairs are very different ones. But it's interesting, my friend Tony said the same thing in the lead up on the same weekend about difficulty visiting friends and neighbours.
Martin is his name.
Yeah. Okay, Jenny.
Thank you. I strongly support including clear mandatory accessibility requirements for new subdivision. If we haven't already known, Hamilton, Waikato region, and New Zealand as a whole, we are an aging population. So we need to have universal design principles from the get-go. And we need to be inclusive. If we design for disability from the get-go, that is inclusive of all peoples, of all abilities. So that's a fundamental basic human rights, and it always intrigues me that we are not including that. It doesn't cost that much. Actually, it increases the value of your property in the long term as well. So there's an economic benefit to it. So I encourage all the developers and property developers out there, please do look at your designs because our community is aging and we have different abilities in our community that are living as well. So, yep, that's me.
Okay, Anna.
I agree with all the speakers. And I guess the designing things from the start accessible is often cheaper. So yes, I absolutely support this policy. And it should not cost a lot more. I agree that with Jenny that we've got an aging population. So disability is going to affect all of us or many of us during our lifetime. So this policy is beneficial to everybody and greater accessibility works for all of us. I also think there's a need to also consider this in terms of our infill housing. Because often that's more affordable housing and perhaps more of our disability community will live in that housing. So we certainly need to extend this kind of policy throughout our developments, I think.
Okay, let's get on to hard-hitting question number 3. What is your position on retaining Hamilton City Council's Kirikiriroa Māori Ward and the Waikato Regional Council's Ngā Tai Ki Uta Māori constituency? And why do you hold that position? Let's start off with Jenny.
I think you've already figured out my answer. I strongly support retaining Kirikiriroa Māori Ward And the reason for it being is there's a thing called the Tetriti of Waitangi and inclusion. And I've already mentioned Moko Tawariki and Maria Huata have added a lot of value over the last 3 years in terms of decision making. So vote yes to retaining Maori wards. The other thing is the Waikato Regional Council's Na Tai Ki Uta Maori constituency is not up for referendum. It's only the Maori ward that is. So do vote. Thank you.
Okay, Anna.
Yes, absolutely support the Māori wards. There's only been 4 Māori elected to Hamilton City Council in its entire lifetime of the council. So I think clearly there's a room for this. And as Jenny said, it is about te tiriti and our obligations. This is not going to get us to meet those obligations, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. And I've only been on council when the Māori wards have been in place, because I've only been there 1 term. And honestly, the difference is just, from what I've observed, having been on the outside, the difference is amazing. Mostly in terms of what got talked about before, kotahitanga and unity. And I see the Māori ward councillors really bringing that value to the fore, working across political views readily, because I think Māori society works across political views really well. And so that valuing comes into council, and it helps to bridge gaps, build relationships, and makes for a more functioning council.
Okay, Jackie.
Thank you. Yes, I also absolutely support Kirikiriro Māori wards. Te Tiriti o Waitangi is what this country is founded on, and we both partners have an obligation to co-design and sit around the table. The 3 Ps, obviously, and the Māori wards go some way, not all the way, but some way to upholding Te Tiriti o Waitangi. And as Jenny said, the Waikato Regional Council's Ngā Tai Ki Uta Māori constituency isn't up for referendum, but if it was, again, I would support that, because the question asks us, would I hold that position? And the answer to that is yes. Thank you.
Okay, Tim.
I've only lived in New Zealand for 31 years, and I was not sure about the need for Māori wards until I started to have a look at why we've got them, and I've now voted yes, let's keep them. It seems bloody obvious. ChatGPT has something to say. Ethically, it's about fulfilling our obligations under the treaty by ensuring a genuine partnership with Māori. Strategically, it's about building a more resilient and forward-thinking city. The climate crisis is a multi-generational problem, and Māori are uniquely positioned to guide us with a long-term vision rooted in a deep connection to the environment. Their representation on council is not about a single issue. It's about embedding a foundational principle of environmental stewardship and social equity into every decision we make, which is essential for our journey to be a net zero Hamilton. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, no, don't want that key there. Okay. It's that time of the day where we get candidates to do their closing statements of why they should get that #1 vote. Anna, you get to go first.
Great. Is this on? Yeah. Look, I have, as I said, I've been in council for 1 term, and it's such an honour and a privilege to serve the city as a councillor. I know there's some work to do, particularly around our finances. I think we've got some good ideas in play, particularly around shared services, and have created, obviously, the council-controlled organisation for water. So I think that's a positive step in the right direction. We need to make sure that our city is affordable. So I'll continue to be a champion for affordable housing. I'll continue to be a champion for community connection, for our community centres, for our events, and for nature. Absolutely. So a vote for me is a vote for all those things. Kia ora.
Okay, next up, Jackie.
Thank you. Yes, a vote for Jackie Talbot, #1, experience, integrity, action. My 3x4 model, we want the finances under control, the 600 million debt that we've incurred in the last 6 years cannot continue. Number two, evidence-based decision making. We've got decisions that I find it very hard to find what we were trying to solve, where are the trade-offs, where are the impacts laid out clearly so that councillors understand the pros and cons of every decision and the impact they're making. Number three, better connections and communication with the residents of Hamilton, all residents, all communities within our community, and being visible across our city. So not just coming out when it's the campaign trail, but being there. Once those three things are under control, we'll have a better governance model to deliver the four things that matter: core services, infrastructure, affordable housing, and Hamilton's environment. Vote Jackie Talbot, number one. I've got the experience, integrity, and the action and proven results.
Okay, Tim.
Okay, so this is all me, and in fact, it's what I put in our booklet, which has been sent out to you all with your voting papers. I'm asking, what about you? How are you supporting, how about supporting putting me and climate action front and centre of all Hamilton City Council decisions? I'm an engineer, but don't let that put you off. I have previously provided IT support at Hamilton City Council. I have an inquisitive mind for how the world works, keen to get to the crux of the matter, and keen to implement proven solutions. Please take a close look at what the other candidates say their climate change policies are and vote for climate action. Thank you.
Okay, Jenny.
Kia ora, Hamilton East. I'm asking for your trust, your support, and your number one vote as well. Vote Jenny Nand. For me, if you're voting for me, you're voting for a solution-focused, pragmatic, inclusive leadership and knowledge and skills. I'm collegial, I'm politically independent, and I work across different political spectrums as well very well. If you want smart, solution-focused leadership, vote Jenny Nand, vote number one. Thank you.
Okay, and for voters out there voting in the Hamilton East Ward election, when it comes to voting, you'll be using single transferable vote. So remember, when it comes to ranking, don't just look at your number one, look at your number two, your number three, your number four, your number five, your number six, and so on. As this election will not just be decided just by first preference votes. In order for a candidate to achieve the quota is the number of positions available plus one divided by the total number of votes. In order for a candidate to get above the quota, they would need to get 14.29% of the vote plus one. So remember, when it comes to voting, is to rank all the candidates. An example of upwards redistribution down to second preference votes would be, say, if a candidate needed, candidate gets 1,000 votes, but only needs 650 votes to achieve the quota, 0.65 of the 1,000 votes they retain, and 0.35 of those votes will move on to their second preference candidates. If the redistribution comes from the bottom, which is usually when there is no positions filled and the last place is eliminated, they will be whole votes and any partial votes from the top redistribution forward that will bring that votes to achieve the quota. So when it comes to voting, make sure you rank all your, not all your candidates, rank candidates you want in there, but also just remember not just your first preference votes, but the candidates that sit through and go below that. Can I say thank you to our candidates for participating on It's in the Ballot today? It's not easy to jump in front of a video camera, but thank you for that. Can I also sit there and thank Laura for being our remote editor and for Roderick for being our on-site camera person to help make everything all work. And I'd like to thank the rest of the It's in the Ballot team for making all these shows go ahead. We'll, fingers crossed, I'm waiting on candidates to respond for Kirikiriroa Māori Ward, but we should be back here at 7 p.m. tomorrow for Kirikiriroa Māori Ward. Thanks for that and have a good evening.